Ralph's observation. It is a mistake to allow any mechanical object to realize that you are in a hurry. Randolph's cardinal principle of statecraft. Never needlessly disturb a thing at rest. Rappaport's rule of the roller skate. Key. Certain items which are crucial to a given activity will show up with uncommon regularity until the day when that activity is planned, at which point the item in question will disappear from the face of the earth. Rapp's law of inanimate reproduction. If you take something apart and put it back together enough times, eventually you will have two of them. Raskin's zero law. The more zeros found in the price tag for a government program, the less congressional scrutiny it will receive. Rather's rule. In dealing with the press, do yourself a favor. Stick with one of three responses. A. I know, and I can tell you. B. I know, and I can't tell you. Or C. I don't know. Rayburn's rule. If you want to get along, go along. Ray's rueful rumination. The world is full of surprises, very few of which are pleasant. Riley's law of retail gravitation. People generally patronize the largest mall in the area. Rennie's law of public transit. If you start walking, the bus will come when you are precisely halfway between stops. Reverend Mahaffey's observation. There's no such thing as a large whiskey. Reverend Chichester's laws. 1. If the weather is extremely bad, church attendance will be down. 2. If the weather is extremely good, church attendance will be down. 3. If the bulletin covers are in short supply, church attendance will exceed all expectations. Revolutionary law. The sloppier the rebel uniform, the more likely the overthrow of the existing government. Reynolds' law of climatology. Wind velocity increases directly with the cost of the hairdo. Rhodes' corollary to Hoare's law. Inside every complex and unworkable program is a useful routine struggling to be free. Richard's complementary rules of ownership. 1. If you keep anything long enough, you can throw it away. 2. If you throw it away, you will need it the next day. Riddle's constant. There are coexisting elements in frustration phenomena which separate expected results from achieved results. Riesman's law. An inexorable upward movement leads administrators to higher salaries and narrower spans of control. Riggs' hypothesis. Incompetence tends to increase with the level of work performed. And, naturally, the individual staff needs will increase as his level of incompetence increases. Ringwald's law of household geometry. Any horizontal surface is soon piled up. Robert E. Lee's truce. Judgment comes from experience. Experience comes from poor judgment. Robert's axiom. Only errors exist. Robertson's law. Quality assurance doesn't. Robertson's law. Everything happens at the same time with nothing in between. Roberts's axiom. Only errors exist. Berman's corollary. To Roberts's axiom. One man's error is another man's data. Rockefeller principle. Never do anything you wouldn't get caught dead doing. Rodovic's rule. In any organization, the potential is much greater for the subordinate to manage his superior than for the superior to manage his subordinate. Rodriguez's observation. A consultant is someone who, when hired to find out what time it is, borrows your watch to find out. Corollary. Martin. If you hire a consultant to read your own watch to you, you got your money's worth. Romer's law. The rate of hospital admissions responds to bed availability. If we insist on installing more beds, they will tend to get filled. Rogers' law. As soon as the stewardess serves the coffee, the airliner encounters turbulence. Davis's explanation of Rogers' law. Serving coffee on aircraft causes turbulence. Rogers' ratio. 1/3 of the people in the United States promote, while the other 2/3 provide. Rogers' rule. Authorization for a project will be granted only when none of the authorizers can be blamed if the project fails, but when all of the authorizers can claim credit if it succeeds. Roman rule. The one who says it can't be done shouldn't interrupt the one doing it. Rominger's rules. For students, 1. The more general the title of a course, the less you will learn from it. 2. The more specific a title is, the less you will be able to apply it. Ron's observation on teenagers. The pimples don't appear until the hour before the date. Rosenbaum's rule. The easiest way to find something lost around the house is to buy a replacement. Rosenfield's regret. The most delicate component will be dropped. Rosenstock-Huessey's law of technology. All technology expands the space, contracts the time, and destroys the working group. Rosenthal effect. Higher expectations lead to an increase in performance, or low expectations lead to a decrease in performance. Ross's law. Bare feet magnetize sharp metal objects so they always point upward from the floor, especially in the dark. Ross's Charles law. Never characterize the importance of a statement in advance. Ruby's principle of close encounters. The probability of meeting someone you know increases when you are with someone you don't want to be seen with. Ruckert's law. There is nothing so small that it can't be blown out of proportion. Rudin's law. In a crisis that forces a choice to be made among alternative courses of action, most people will choose the worst one possible. Rudnitsky's Nobel principle. Only someone who understands something absolutely can explain it, so no one else can understand it. Rudnitsky's rule. That which cannot be taken apart will fall apart. Rule of accuracy. When working toward the solution of a problem, it always helps if you know the answer. Corollary. Provided, of course, that you know there is a problem. Rule of failure. If at first you don't succeed, destroy all evidence that you have tried. Rule of feline. Frustration. When your cat has fallen asleep on your lap and looks utterly content and adorable, you will suddenly have to go to the bathroom. Rule of law. 1. If the facts are against you, hammer the law. 2. If the law is against you, hammer the facts. 3. If the facts and the law are against you, hammer the table. Rule of political promises. Truth varies. Rule of reason. If nobody uses it, there's a reason. Rule of the great. When someone you greatly admire and respect appears to be thinking deep thoughts, they are probably thinking about lunch. Rule of the rally. The only way to make up for being lost is to make record time while you are lost. Rule of the way out. Always leave room to add an explanation if it doesn't work out. Runnemach's law. There are 4 kinds of people. Those who sit quietly and do nothing, those who talk about sitting quietly and doing nothing, those who do things, and those who talk about doing things. Rune's rule. If you don't care where you are, you ain't lost. Runyon's law. The race is not always to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, but that's the way to bet. Rush's rule of gravity. When you drop change at a vending machine, the pennies will fall nearby, while all the other coins will roll out of sight. Russ's law of assembly. The one piece that holds the whole thing together will be missing. Ryan's application of Parkinson's law. Possessions increase to fill the space available for their storage. Ryan's law. Make 3 correct guesses consecutively, and you will establish yourself as an expert.